We are the army of God. We'll dare to discuss what most churches never will, and strive always to speak the truth in love. We are watchmen, warriors, victors. Together, we will fight the good fight and finish strong. This is David Hebner Live.
Hey everybody, I'm David. I'm live. More importantly, God is alive, okay? God is alive. He's working and he is on the throne dictating. Believe me, he has everything under control, okay? You and I, we are here. We are his children. I'm so glad to be with you every Monday night. I tell my wife, I go, you know what? I got to be with my family. I got to be with my friends because a lot of these people, they just don't get it, you know? Or they're screaming some type of conspiracy stuff going on. But anyway, it's so good to be with you every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all my friends out there in California, I think 5 o'clock California. Okay, so here it is. Don't you find it odd that this quote virus, this little squiggly thing, has what it has done? Or what they have used it to be accomplished for their agenda. It's shut down the entire world, destroyed the economy, or I want to say more like manipulated the economy. But it hasn't manipulated their economy, it's manipulated our economy. All right, stripped away the freedom, hasn't stripped away their freedom, but it seems to have stripped away our freedom. But the question is, who is they, David? Who are you talking about, they? You know, I only base my truth on Scripture, all right? Not some famous, YouTube channel, certainly not some ditzy, celebrity, daytime television, which most of those guys are shut down anyway. Thank goodness there is a good side to this. Or even the mainstream media, which we know most of those guys are a hoax anyway. So Jesus said in these last days, there would be perilous times, that there'd be persecution, that families would be ripped apart, father against son, mother against daughter, and we would not be able to buy or sell. There'd come a point where we'd have to make a decision. We're going to take the easy road or the hard road, if they will let us take the hard road, which it's not about letting us, it's about following God, staying with God. Okay, so to buy or sell, there must be, I guess you've heard about an Antichrist. We've all been talking about the Antichrist. But Jesus said, be not deceived. He said to watch, be on high alert. We're going to be talking about the Antichrist. Is there really an Antichrist? Is it a person? What is it? What is the Antichrist? With me tonight, I've got an expert on precious metals and a student of the economy. He's a tech advisor on Last Evangelist, and also basically for the show, because I turn to him when I have these crazy questions about the economy. But what sets my next guest apart is not so much his knowledge and his expertise on the economy and precious metals, but his hunger for the truth. Yeah, his hunger, he's a spiritual guy. And, it's hard to find guys that talk about money that are also spiritual. I'm talking about, Christians. So understanding that he understands humans are also not just flesh, but having a spiritual nature, meaning we're really spiritual beings having a human experience temporarily. So see, that leaves me with a really awkward predicament, because as a secret truth, what's behind all this, when my next guest talks about the economy, which most people are not on board with the truth when it comes to money, Mr. David Morgan is. David, you with me, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how are you, man?
Well, I'm doing as well as could be expected under the circumstances.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, so David, you released an article which to me was it blew my mind. I go, okay, somebody finally gets it. All right. Not that everything is right on, but I mean, you got the gist of it. Let's talk about money and power. You said that money is power. And why is money power? I understand if you have a lot of money, you can buy power. But what does it mean in the realm of these last days? How is money going to play in to these final hours that we're facing?
David, I will answer your question, and you've known me long enough now to know with my engineering background, which I think has been instrumental in getting a better straight answer, you might say, on the economic situation because I'm trained to think logically and look for as much fact as possible. So we could jump right to the answer. You know, it's 666. You either take the mark or you don't. And if you don't, you can't buy or sell. I mean, that's the answer in short terms, but I like to back up and build a bit of a foundation. I had a kind of a unique educational period, even though I was publicly schooled until I went to university, and that was a public university, actually. I just happened to get that string of teachers along the road. Most were exceptional, very few mediocre. And my 8th grade civics class, the gentleman that taught that, basically the first time I ever heard it was money is power. And what is that? What is, you know? And so I always kept that in mind. And the more I got into, you know, my path, what I think is my calling, my duty, what I do passionately and have for years is to try to work toward an honest monetary system, knowing full well what the end time revelations state. And knowing full well that at some point we throw gold and silver in the street, but I think we should save for another show. So the point is that money's power, and what it really means is that it's control, because most people can be bought. If you look at the Congress critters, these people come in making $75,000 a year, and after serving 8 years, they're worth $15 million. How does that happen?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so most people can be bought. Money is control. Money is power. And that leads to the next system. And the next system is more about control than it is about money.
Yeah. Let me back up. There was a politician, somebody well known, that said something like, let me control the country's money system and I'll control the country. Who said that?
Yeah. Mayor Rothschild purportedly said that I care not who makes the laws if I control the money, is the paraphrase. You know?
So here, David, my point is this, because the gatherers, we call ourselves the gatherers here. This is like our church, okay? Because we have to come together once a week for our sanity, okay? Yeah. What I want to do is let everyone understand, because people want to harp on this government thing. They want to harp on the Constitution. They want to harp on all this. And I want people to understand where the control, where the power really comes from. It's not the government. It's not the, standing on the Constitution, though we would like to, and we try to, but the power really comes from money, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, we've been together a while, and one of the points I make in a lot of my lectures, and I just, no matter what I'm speaking of, I usually take this pyramid from Foster Gamble that made the Thrive movie, and I asked his permission to use it. And I throw it up on the screen and I show the pyramid, and the bottom of the pyramid, which is the lowest level possible, is we the people, the land, the animals, and all that. Right above that, the next level up, which is very, very low, is government. And then above that is corporations. And then above that are commercial banks. And above that are investment banks. And above that is the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. And above that is the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. And above that is the getting toward the tip of the pyramid. So, I've said this too many times, but I really want to build this foundation hard, because when Mayor Rothschild says, if I could create the money, I care not who makes the laws, he could give a darn if it's communist, fascist, socialist, semi-socialist, anarcho-capitalist, full capitalist, Or, and let me say it, please, in our founding, we have nothing to do with rights. We succeeded a little bit of our God-given rights to create government. So it went like this, David and everybody listening. We have our God-given, constitutionally secured rights. The only reason we ceded a little bit of our God-given rights to a government was to make certain that that government protected our God-given rights. And we were so emphatic about it, we wrote out the Bill of Rights to make sure that those rights were so well understood and couldn't be messed with that we put them in 1 through 10. And of course, here we are today. But I just want to make that point that the bankers don't care what stripe government you have. And that's the most important point. But I also want people to understand when they say, well, this nation was blah, 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 blah. Look, the way this nation was founded was it was founded on a godly principle, period. It cannot be argued otherwise.
Yeah, you know, David, here's the thing is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I watch television, the mainstream media, oh, heaven help me, and they're harping on politics, Democrats, Republicans, Trump did this, Trump didn't do that, you know, blah, blah, blah. This to me is a diversion. You know, Jesus said, be not deceived, okay? It's a diversion. We need to pull the curtain back and see who the guy operating the Wizard of Oz. David, who is behind the curtain? If you just had, you know, 2 minutes left on earth and you had to tell the truth about who you think's behind that curtain, who would it be?
Well, you know, you might fire me as your technical advisor. One, I don't know. But I'll go this far because this question was asked in a lecture I gave here in Spokane after we met at the Red Pill, probably a year later. And actually, some of the same people were there. And I was asked that question, and I said, I'm still open-minded. In fact, I'm so open-minded that I would not rule out an alien presence. And when I say that, I want to qualify it somewhat. Because if you study that, and I haven't studied it in depth, but I've studied it enough to know I don't know. But what I do know is that some of the best researchers in that realm absolutely are convinced that there's no such thing as an alien. It's a demonic presence that's mistakenly called an alien presence. Bear that in mind when I say I don't rule it out. And if you go that technically divisive that it's not technically something from another planet, it's really a demonic entity materializing in this frequency.
Yeah,
it makes more sense to me personally, anyway.
Yeah,
that's the powers and principalities that we're actually at war against.
No, man. Listen, you're reading my mail, brother, because you know, I talk a lot and I teach a lot on it's another dimension. There is no, you know, aliens on another planet and all that. This is demonic stuff. Okay, who's in control, and I think you hit the nail on the head. There's going to be a thing called disclosure. They're already talking about it, but people are going to think it's some space alien from another planet that's going to give us all this, you know, wisdom and all this prosperity, which we're going to talk about a little bit. But really, it's the demons. It's from the demonic realm. So I love your answer saying, I don't know, because that's so true. We don't know, but we do know it's principalities. It's powers in high places, dark places. All right. One last question. All right. Well, actually, a statement. You said in your write-up, the idea that the mark of the beast is some sort of ambiguous form of technology that somehow tracks your every movement better than an iPhone or a Fitbit, or allows you to pay without using cash better than an Apple Pay or any other credit debit card, or has some facial recognition software and is given by the Antichrist, is non-biblical idea. It's a non-biblical idea that's been popularized by media controlled by the first beast. David, I don't want to go into the beast yet. We're going to do that next segment. But you're saying here that this is not some chip that's going to go in your hand in this statement, right?
That's correct. And I just want to be certain that people understand I'm still researching this. I'm getting a lot of input after I put this article up. I'm not saying that I know for sure what. The only thing I'll say with almost 100% certainty, David, is that, as I've said on every show we've done, the move to a cashless system is a guarantee. And what you just started to talk about is the fact that those things all exist. They don't need any improvement. Facial recognition, digital only, swipe your phone, use Apple Pay. That's already in the system. So to think that that's it, no, folks, that's the system we've been under, in the slave control, taxation, government rule, God doesn't exist system that we've been in for quite some time. That's
I mean,
this is the snapshot of where we are, not where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They don't need to have something to insert in our arm. All they have to do is take away the physical cash, give you a card, and say you can't buy or sell unless you have this card. Brother, everybody's going to be hanging on to that card. Forget about inserting it in their arm. They're not going to let it out of their sight. All right. So we're talking to David Morgan, everybody. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about something I think is very, very important. We're going to be talking about the first and the second beast and how this plays in right now with what we're experiencing with this, quote, pandemic virus shutdown. So stay with me. I'm with David Morgan. We'll be right back. Everybody is someone's last evangelist.
You bring out what the other churches don't bring out.
10 million ritually abused people.
Yes. You expose things that they don't talk about.
I just want to say thank you to David for making these videos, because he's made people aware of what's going on.
It's not the lukewarm church that's going to awaken. They're going to think, oh, the New World Order is wonderful. This is what we've been praying for.
A demon could take on the form of an alien. You know, Satan can masquerade himself as an angel of light.
They get into people and cause people to do blood sacrifices and do all these demonic things.
You talk about what other pastors, so-called ministers, don't talk about.
I'm just so grateful for the work that you have done. So thankful for everything that you're doing and fighting for us in Hollywood.
Stop playing church. It's time to be the church.
And that's what I love about it.
Not too long ago, I released a video called The Bible That Leaks Oil by the Gallons. Okay, so this Bible leaks oil. What do you do with the oil? What was the first sign of the Bible leaking oil?
So we have to ask ourselves, what is the source?
I touched the oil, I hit the ground.
It'll all shoot up back.
Here's the oil.
Come to find out it's all a fake and a fraud.
We've analyzed the oil in a lab, and this is what it is.